Hello everyone, I'm Chantal Udukunda. I'm with Germaine and we are going to take you through leadership styles and different leaders. So we start with Mansa Musa, who led the Mali Empire in pro-colonial Africa, and then we look at Jomo Kenyatta, who led Kenya and struggle for independence, and also we look at Kwame Nkrumah, who was in immediate post-independence, and then we look at John Pombe Magufuli in the 21st century.
Starting from Mansa Musa from Mali Empire, under his rule, he was helped by his richness and his country. Mansa Musa also was named by Forbes as the wealthiest person in the history. He also constructed the Parisi and the other contemporary buildings in Mali and the other for Islams. About Jomo Kenyatta was the leader of Kenya movement to independence. He was imprisoned for 9 years. Jomo Kenyatta also got, and his country got independence in 1963. Let's continue with Kwame Nkrumah and Jomo Pombe Magufuli.
Yes, looking at the context of Kwame Nkrumah period, Kwame Nkrumah was spearhead of a forceful campaign for independence, and he was serving as Prime Minister, and this was won in 1957. And also, he fighted the British rule, where he led numerous petitions for self-governance. And also, Kwame Nkrumah collaborated with both Guinea and Mali in an attempt to create a League of Independent African Union or nation. Looking at the John Pombe Magufuli, he was the 5th president of Tanzania from 2015 until his death on March 17, 2021. Magufuli came under fire for his political rival who claimed that he was repressing the opposition, restricting press freedom, and also not allowing freedom for the information. Magufuli also prohibited the export of raw materials and also stopped some countries from Western to invest in his country. So looking at the leadership styles of these four leaders, we start with Mansa Musa. His leadership styles includes visionary, autocratic, bureaucratic, and transformational styles. And also, Jomo Kenyatta, his leadership styles include democratic, transformational, and transitional. Kwame Nkrumah, his leadership styles includes democratic, motivational, and transformational styles. Pombe Magufuli, his leadership styles include motivational, transformational, autocratic, and transactional styles. So I'll pass it to Germaine.
Going to characteristics of four leaders, they starting from Mansa Musa, his wealth of gold, salt, and agriculture helped him and his empire to be anonymous, and he was anonymous because of those wealth he had. Jomo Kenyatta formed Kikuyu to forcibly intend, and after he formed the Mau Mau campaign, which helped him to fight against colonial administrations. Also, Kwame Nkrumah was successfully undertook aggressive campaign, which also helped him to fight against European countries. John Pombe Magufuli was characterized by being supportive and persistent. He was also motivative and hesitant. Let's continue with the similarities and differences.
Yes, we have to compare and contrast these four leaders, and we look at their differences and similarities. Starting from similarities, Kwame and Jomo Kenyatta were both imprisoned by colonizers, and they want to discourage them from promoting Pan-Africanism in the African continent. They both wanted the development of Africa without influence of colonizers, and also they both wanted Africa to depend on their natural resources as a way to develop the continent. Like Mansa Musa, he used the Ivory Coast gold to develop his country by giving them to the citizens. Also, both were born in Africa and their motivation comes from colonial experience. For example, Magufuli Pombo, he was born, raised, studied in his country, and that motivated him to go for politics. And they both wanted to see the change in Africa without the influence of colonialism. Germaine can continue with the differences.
Okay, going to differences. Some of them took and had experience from European countries, as you said, like Mansa Musa coming to Jomo Kenyatta, are the ones who had experience from outside, and that inspired them to fight for Africa. They had different leadership styles, which helped all of them to be successful. Mansa Musa, Kwame Nkrumah, and Jomo Kenyatta were imprisoned because they fought against European countries. Only Magufuli was not imprisoned. Let's continue with the Mansa Musa was very successful in military. That's his strength, and he had wealth, which supported, which was being supported by his mother, and also his strategy of leading the country through dividing the country into provinces by putting the governors. Jomo Kenyatta also had ideology, African nationalist and conservative, which helped him to lead Kenya African National Union. And also Jomo Kenyatta had a strategy which helped him to engage both Kikuyu and non-Kikuyu citizens while fighting against the colonialism. Also, he was wise, educative, intellectual, and also hard worker. That also helped him to be successful. Their weaknesses, Mansa Musa, as his first weakness was that he lacked leadership skills, which downfalled him. He also had only to focus Mary's wealth and only focusing on the expansion of Mari Empire without focusing on his leadership. Jomo Kenyatta, his weakness was that the British settler imperialist enterprise left a legacy of inequality in Kenya, which which Kenyatta didn't care of and did not last that, but benefited from it. The chance for true nationalism was missed in Kenya. Let's continue with Pombe Magufuli and Kwame Nkrumah's strength.
Yes, I will take you through strengths and weakness of Pombe Magufuli and Kwame Nkrumah. So Pombe Magufuli have the support and love from the citizens, and also his education and his background strengthened him to become a president. He also favored reducing the right to information, speech, and expressions. This helped the opposers not to intervene with his political party. He also have the ability to resist against Western influence and fighting against corruption. For Kwame Nkrumah, his education background is a strength to him because he then studied in Ghana. He went out of the country, and that motivated him to come and fight for Africa. His ideology on Pan-Africanism, African liberation, and self-governance is a part of his strength. His social policies and leadership styles are great strength to him, and also his ability to unite different African countries to fight against colonizers like Mali, Guinea, and Ghana. We look at the weaknesses of John Pombe Magufuli and Kwame Nkrumah. So Magufuli failed to tackle the pandemic by encouraging doubt on seriousness of the pandemic. He also imprisoned and harassing opposition leaders and critics, which made some political parties to hate him. And also he has autocratic characteristics which limit LGBT's right, and this was his weakness. And also looking at Kwame Nkrumah, he put it in detention and imprisonment of different opposition members and without trials, like giving them 5 years or 10 without any laws about that, and this made the other political parties to hate him, hence doing assassination, and this was his weakness. He also neglected the 7 times of assassination, and after this, he found himself in exile because of neglecting these all assassinations. Lack of the communication between opponent members and his political party. So let's look at the lessons learned from this whole leadership styles.
So we got a lot of lessons from this leadership for readers and their readership styles. Uh, we learned that we need to build your Pan-Africanism in and outside African continents, because once we become just Pan-African inside the African continent, that doesn't make sense. We need to be African in and out.
And also, we have to unite. Another lesson learned is uniting African countries. As youth, we are the one to step out to go and unite our countries, like Rwanda and Burundi. If you know, as a youth, you have something to do. Let's learn from our elders, our heroes, and then step out to fight for our country and unite them. And also look at fighting for African freedom. If we don't fight for our own freedom, not Western countries will come to us and fight for our freedom. So this is a good lesson to us, and every youth and every African must normalize this and always fight for our own freedom. Yes.
Even if there are some, most of the African leaders were killed and they are heroes now. They were like, for us, we need to be more careful because they were killed and others were, yeah, were like missed because I don't know, but we need to be more careful because we need to be wise and think twice. Uh, um, unless we can be like killed as well, because those European people had power, and us also we need to think and yeah, to be careful of whatever we are doing.
Yes, I support you, Germaine, because if they are powerful than us and they can do everything to destroy it. So whatever we are doing, we need to work in hand with them, but again, thinking twice on how we can develop Africa without they are controlling us, but still we show them that we are with them. I sometimes accept the way Kwame Nkrumah did it, going outside and pretend to be neutral. That is a part of being wise for them not to control him, and this was good for him. And also, lastly, we can look at collaborating with each other. Like Jomo Kenyatta needed to collaborate with different tribes and support them to rise up, and this was a good success to him. And as African, it's a good lesson for us to learn from them, and also with collaborating and supporting each other, our continent will be free from colonization and it will be developed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.